Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It has been a hot sec since I have been on here, but I'm back. Kind of started college and then abruptly transitioned back home in the middle of the semester because of this crazy pandemic. And now I'm finally finished with school, so I just happened to hop on here, and I think there might have been a comment or two about my SATs or APs and whether I should do those. I don't know, but I decided to do it anyway. Okay, so just a quick thing before I start the video. These stats by no means decide whether you get into your top school or not. I mean, it's just one factor out of so many factors that are looked at by college admissions when they decide who to accept and who not to accept. So getting a 1600 on the SAT does not guarantee that you're automatically going to get into every college. At the same time, I mean, most of the people I know at Harvard do not have perfect 36s on their ACTs or 1600s on the SAT. So if you don't get those, don't worry, you're totally fine. Now, that being said, let's get into the video. Okay, so I'm going to start with the big ones. The big SAT and the ACT, all the big standardized tests. Yeah, I actually ended up taking both of them. I took 2 SATs and then I took 1 ACT. My final score on the SAT is an unsuper scored 1580, and then I ended up super scoring my essay, which was a 22 out of 24, because the second time I took the SAT, I actually didn't take the essay because I liked my grade from the first time I took it. For the ACT, my composite score was a 35 out of 36. So the breakdowns of those ended up being that I got 780 on the English section of the SAT, and then an 800 on the math. And then for the ACT, I got a 36 on the math, a 35 on science, a 35 on English, and then a 32 on the reading. And then my essay was a 10 out of 12. So these are the scores that ended up helping me get into the top colleges that I wanted to get into. But if you don't have these scores, don't worry, you're probably fine. I think a good way to measure whether your test score is good enough is by looking up all the colleges that you are going to apply to or want to apply to, and then see their interquartile range. So you see the 25th percentile scores and the 75th percentile scores, and you generally want to be somewhere inside of that range. And if you are inside that range, I think you should be fine. So there's nothing to worry about. Also, for those of you who are deciding between taking the SAT and the ACT, it really just depends on which one you feel more comfortable taking, because at this point, colleges don't really care if you take one or the other. They're not going to automatically reject you because, oh, you took like the ACT instead of the SAT. Like, that doesn't really happen. But they are different tests. For example, the ACT is generally a little bit easier than the SAT, but it is a lot quicker. You have generally less time per question in the ACT. And there's also a science section in the ACT, and this is a lot of just like interpreting different graphs that they present to you, of course, in a quick time. So if these end up being more in your strength, I would definitely recommend taking the ACT. Otherwise, the SAT is probably good enough, but the best way to decide is just by taking both tests timed in the best test setting that you can really create in your house, and then just see which one you feel more comfortable with or which one you think you'll do better on, and then just take that test. Going along with that, though, I would also recommend just taking as many time tests as you can in your house, of course. Just try to recreate the testing environment to the best of your ability, and then just keep practicing, find whatever questions you can, and like honestly, that's just the best way to improve your score. There are 2 different resources that I use that really help me out. One of them is Khan Academy, and I mean, this is just like a free resource with just so many test questions and practice tests, and they actually work with College Board, I think, to like create these questions. So they are at least somewhat representative of what you might see on the exam. So it's definitely a great way to study and then just to keep improving your score and improving your testing skills too. So I definitely recommend that. And then the second resource that I used was actually the SAT books that Erica Meltzer wrote, and the ones that she released. So she just kind of went over all the strategies to help you really do well on the SAT. And it really helped me out so much. Like, that's all I studied, I think, the second time I took the SAT, and my score improved just drastically. So I highly recommend that. SAT 2s. Okay, so for these, I ended up taking 4. My sophomore year, after I took the World History AP and the Bio AP, I ended up taking the World History and Biomolecular SATs. I got an 800 on Bio, and I got a 740 on World History. And then in junior year, I ended up taking AP Chemistry, and then after that, I took the Chemistry SAT, which I got an 800 on, and then I also took the Math 2 exam, and I got an 800 on that as well. So if I had any advice on the tests that you should be taking or how many that you should be taking, I'd say it honestly depends on the schools that you wanted to apply to. Some of them don't even require SATs at all. Others require like 1 English or just 1 humanities and 1 math or STEM. And I think if you don't really know where you want to apply yet, that's a good baseline just to take 1 humanities and 1 STEM. And if you want to decide which humanities and which STEM to take, I'd also just do that based off of the APs that you're taking. So for example, I ended up taking my SAT 2 exams the June after I took the AP exams for that specific subject, and that just helped me study for 2 tests at once almost, so it was really helpful. Test specific, I do have some advice for deciding between Math 1 and Math 2. I'd say that if you are stronger with the Math 2 exam, or just stronger with just like pre-calc in general, definitely take Math 2 because there is a fat curve on that test, and it is just really helpful, and it really helps you just do well on the exam, even if you do get a couple wrong. And then for Bio E versus Bio M, I actually only decided to take Bio M like while I was sitting taking the exam, because you really just fill out a Scantron that says you're taking Bio E or M, and they give you both sets of questions in the exam itself. So you can just look through both of them, see which one you think you can do better with, like see which one you know more questions in, and then just do that section and fill that one out. So that's what I recommend doing if you can't decide between either one. And lastly, APs, of course, the big one. Well, one of the big ones, they're all kind of big. This is especially big right now because College Board made them, like 45 minutes each now? Kind of crazy, of course, with the whole pandemic, but everything's crazy. And if you're a junior and you're taking all your APs this year and you're worried that this is going to hurt your chances of getting into college, please don't worry. Trust me, everyone's going through this. Like, every junior is going through this. And colleges are also going through a lot right now with the pandemic too. So they totally understand that this is not the most ideal situation, and that is okay. I took 12 APs, and I split it up in a way that actually kind of satisfied me. I took 4 sophomore year, 2 of which were self-studied, and then 4 junior year and 4 senior year, and then all 8 of those were actually taken in class. So totally I took 2 self-studied. Overall, I got 8 5s and 4 4s. Yes, I did not get all 5s, and if you don't get all 5s, that is also totally fine. A lot of people don't get all 5s, and they end up getting into great schools anyways. I would just recommend that you try your best, and as long as you have decent scores overall, you'll be okay. In terms of studying for these, I think it also depends on each test specifically. If you look through your notes, of course, that's like the top thing you should do just to make sure you know all the content. for all your APs that you're studying for. But in terms of actual practice questions, definitely look online to see if there are any like AP test practice websites that might make their own question that you can just try out to see if you know them. That is always a good thing to try. There are some like test books, like I think Barron's and Princeton Review, that might give you some good practice and just good practice questions, along with, I think, College Board itself. I think sometimes College Board does give you some practice questions that might help you prepare for the AP, so definitely look to see if College Board does that for you, because that will really help. Okay, I think that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you so much if you stayed all the way to the end. If you liked it and you think you learned a lot from it, definitely give it a big thumbs up. And if you have any other questions, or if you have any other suggestions for more videos, please comment them down below. Hopefully I'll actually try to be more active now that I'm kind of stuck at home, and maybe I can give you all some more content, so that would be really cool. Yeah, but thank you so much. Oh, and please subscribe if you actually liked my videos, or if you liked my last video. Definitely will really help me out, and even click the notification bell if you ever want to hear more about me and any videos I may make in the future. Peace.